Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another Java GUI tutorial. And in this, it's going to be a series, definitely, probably at least 3 videos. We're going to be making a simple but effective calculator. And I'm going to go through each part and hope you understand every part of it. So, again, we're only going to use 3 sets of imports. So I'm actually going to close those, so get them now. And alright, so my class is called calculator because obviously we're making a calculator, and it's extending JFrame because that's what we've always done so far. I'm gonna teach you about JPanels in a couple videos. So, anyways, down a couple and declare variables. So we're gonna need 4 buttons. We're gonna J button add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And how this calculator is going to work, I'm not going to have like an equals button. I'm just going to have add, subtract, multiply, and divide buttons, and when you actually click those buttons, the action event is going to take place, and it's going to do the operation. So we won't even need an equals button. You'll see when we're finished, but I don't know, that's just a new way to do a calculator. So then we need J, text field, and then we're going to do num1 for the first number and num2 for the second number. And we can only enter 2 numbers into our calculator. And then we need J label, one of them is going to be called result, and the other one, it's more like a prompt label. It's let's call it enter 1 and enter 2, just like that. Now down to the constructor. Alright, now I'm going to be teaching you a new layout this tutorial, and this layout is called grid bag layout. And basically, this is the layout you're going to use for all of your complex programs, because this enables you to create a layout almost any way imaginable. So it's a mix between grid layout, border layout, I guess. So you'll see. The nice thing about it is you don't have to declare any rows or columns in the beginning, because you make them, I guess is what you call it, as you go along. So I'll show you right here. So set layout, new grid bag layout. It's like that. And now we need something called grid bag constraints, and these are like if we want to make a new grid, or maybe have insets, which is like padding around it, or make the grid width wider. You just need these constraints. So type in grid bag constraints, and we're just gonna call it C equals new grid bag constraints. And now I would recommend copying and pasting this. Just copying this grid bag constraints word, because we're going to be using that a lot, and it can get a lot annoying to type it in all the time. Alright, so go down a couple lines, and we're going to do our first thing, which is our enter 1 label, which is going to say first number, or first. So enter 1 is equal to new J label, and it's going to say first, and a little space there. And alright, now this is where you need to pay attention. So the first thing you always have to type in after every object you declare, I guess, is C dot, and then fill equals grid bag constraints dot, and then type in horizontal, because we want the layout to be horizontal, not vertical or diagonal or anything like that. So in our scenario, it's always going to be horizontal for this tutorial, but you might have it vertical or something else another time. But now we're going to type in C dot grid X, and it's going to be equal to 0 because it's in the first grid X column, and C dot grid Y is also equal to 0. So basically we declared this object to be in a 0, 0 position on the grid. And see, normally if you had a grid grid layout we have to type in like 4 or 5 or something and declare it up here. But the beauty of grid bag layout is you can declare it as you go. So this one is in the top left hand corner because it's over 0 and down 0. Now all you do is type in add and then whatever your object name is, enter 1 and then comma C. And C is our grid bag constraints. Alright, so down a couple. Now we need our num1. This is our text field. So it's going to be equal to a new j text field, and I'm going to give it width of 10 columns. And I'm type in C fill equals new. Not new, just grid bag constraints, and then horizontal. Alright, and this one is going to be c.gridx, and this one's going to be equal to 1 because it's over 1, but the y is still going to be equal to 0 because we didn't move down any, so the y is still equal to 0. So if you have any understanding of coordinate geometry or graphing, you know that x is over and y is down and up. So we've moved over 1, but we're still on the same row. So we're on the topmost row, but we're over 1 column. So now what we need to do for this one is we want this to span 3 of the bottom 4 buttons. I know that sounds confusing now, but you'll see it when we actually make it, so just trust me. Type in c.grid width, and you have to have it equal to 3, and then add num1 c. Alright, now we need our enter 2, so enter 2's equal new j label, and this one's going to say second, not at sign, alright, and then c.fill equals horizontal, alrighty. In this one, we want it to actually be down down a row, but in the leftmost column. So we're going to do c.grid x is equal to 0, but the grid y is going to be equal to 1. Because we are in the leftmost column, but we've moved down 1 row. So we're over 0 and down 1. Because computers, say this is your monitor, my window right here, this is 0, 0, and this is going over x, and that's positive, and going down is y like this. So like 20/20 view right here, 40/40, I don't know, maybe like 220 view like right here, just as an example. Alright, and now since we have declared our C constraint grid width to equal 3, we actually have to reset it. And to do this, you just type in c.grid width and type in 1. And that just resets it. And you only have to do that after you use it up here, or after you have it other than 1. So by default, I think it's 1, so if you declare it again to be 1, it's always going to be 1 until you make it like 3 or 4 again. So now add enter 2c. Alright, now we need our number 2 text field, so num2 equal to new j text field 10, and c fill horizontal, c.grid x is equal to 1, and c.grid y is also equal to 1, because now we are over 1 and down 1. And this one is going to be a grid width of 3, just like our other text field, so it lines up. And then add num2c. Alright, probably time for one more thing in this video. Actually no, I'm gonna stop this video here and check back for the next one. You should see it right on the right hand side of this video.